This is Awesome St. John, Jason, the original Red Ranger. You are watching the Morphin Network.
Carson's Corner is a black LGBTQ-owned small business. They sell merchandise and apparel on pop culture franchises such as Dragon Ball, King of the Hill, Sailor Moon, and of course and most importantly, Power Rangers. If you're interested in getting their amazing merch, be sure to check them out at carsoncorner.com. Link will be down below.
Hello and welcome to Phoenix, where we discuss the latest technology to fight the evil dead man. I'm George, and today we'll be covering the Gundaphone 50. This device is standard issue to squad leader and higher ranking officers at Phoenix. It has the dual functionality of both using a cell phone as well as a sidearm. Yeah, this has also been given to Kamen Rider Revice for their own use, but as an unintentional side effect, this can also be used for people other than Icky to communicate with Vice whenever he possesses the phone. Quite interesting development. I need to do more research on that. Well, that's it for today, and have a good time. Hey everyone, welcome to the Rider Time Podcast. This is TimeRider Zero, your host, and I hope you're all having a pleasant weekend this week, and I hope you got that extra hour of sleep because daylight savings has just come to an end. That said, welcome to today's episode. Today we'll be reviewing Kamen Rider Revice, Episode 9, Runaway Kagero, Igarashi Brothers Collapse. And of course, there's a lot to say about this episode. A lot more drama picked up from the previous episode. I mean, it did not escalate to the same extent, but I feel like we're entering that part 2 of a 3-part or even 4-part episode that we really wanted to see. And the way things are going, we might actually get, an extra Kamen Rider that we really need to help, get the show where it needs to go. But enough about that. What did you guys think of the episode? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Let us know in the comments, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, because this is being recorded live. And let's get started with the episode, shall we? So, the episode begins with Icky and Sakura reviewing what happened in the previous episode, and they're just flabbergasted that Kamen Rider Evil was their brother Daiji all along, and not just that, but also the fact that his body's possessed by a demon, well, a dead man, and they just don't know what to do about the situation. Of course, the mom, being fully recovered and back in charge of the bathhouse, she's giving sage advice as she always does, and she says, "Listen, guys, I know Daiji will come back. You just got to go save him. Never give up, never surrender." Yes, and insert Buzz Lightyear reference here. Meanwhile, Oteka hands Kagero, which is Daiji's dead man, 2 vice stamps. One summons Gifts Juniors and the proto stamp of the Brachiosaur. So there's a trio of low time swindlers probably doing some telemarketing scams, and of course Daiji, or rather Kagero, barges in, beats him up, and turns one of them into a dead man contract holder. Meanwhile, at Phoenix, George shows up with some new vice stamps, and of course, if you look carefully, you do see Amazon. You see a mole vice stamp with Amazon in the background, and you see a scorpion one, which, if I am not mistaken, is either Rider Man or X. Now, here's my thoughts on this. I love it. I actually like the fact that you have the Showa Kamen Rider vice stamps that are that have some animal related to their respective season. And of course, the reason why we got Amazon with a mole is because in Kamen Rider Amazon there was a mole man that befriends Amazon when he's about to be executed, and he becomes a recurring character up until, spoiler alert, for episode 20. And of course, if you watch the remake Kamen Rider Amazons, then you would know that one of the team members in the extermination squad actually turns into a mole Amazon. As for the Scorpion, if I remember correctly, it's Kamen Rider X, but I feel like it would work better with Rider Man. And the reason why I think that is because if you watch Kamen Rider V3, Rider Man's arch nemesis is a general from he's a general from Destron, who turns into a scorpion monster. So I feel like that should have been a Rider Man reference. Now there is a scorpion monster in Kamen Rider X, but it's not as remembered. I mean, like if Apollo Geist was based on an animal, I think they should have went with the Apollo Geist name, because sticking to my fan fiction. But moving right along, George hands over the praying mantis vice stamp, which has the genetic code of Kamen Rider Gaim, which I've waited for this one for quite a while because 1, I like Gaim, 2, I like praying mantises. So they go off into the streets to fight the Brachiosaur dead man. And I noticed that it has 3 heads on top, and I can't help but, one's red, one's yellow, one's green. I can't help but think that this might be a Geo reference, because in Geo Trinity he has 3 heads. You got the pink for Geo, you got the yellow for Gaze, and you got green for what's his name, Waz. So I think that might be an O's Trinity reference right there on his head. So of course Vice keeps saying the word Daiji, and it's annoying Icky, but he's like, no, for real though, Daiji's over there, look, I can see him. And of course, when Icky runs off to confront Kagero, Vice starts posing to the screen, starts ranting, and tells the kids to go onto Twitter and do #NiceVice. I am not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of the fourth wall breaks, not at all. But it is what it is. But yeah, so he does use the new sword formation of the hammer that he got from the previous episode to fight off against the Brachiosaur dead man. And of course, Revi and Demon start fighting off the Gifts Jr. so that they could get to Kagero. Then Revi uses the Praying Mantis Vice Stamp to become Trix Yogurt Pink Gaim, while Vice becomes an orange Praying Mantis. Again, not a fan of the color scheme, but what I do find interesting is that his sidearm has a strong resemblance to the Sonic Arrow from Kamen Rider Gaim. And the Sonic Arrows were actually used by the Genesis Riders, not the Sengoku Riders. So that's a little weird, but much like Kamen Rider Laser's main weapon, it can split apart to become twin size. So, not size, scythes. And of course, he's hacking and slashing all the enemies, and some beautiful special effects involved. And of course, Vice is also holding his own against the Dead Man. Then the two of them combine into the Praying Mantis remix in order to finish off the Dead Man. And of course, even if you got 4 legs and 2 scythe arms, you could still do an epic pose with an explosion behind you. So they review footage and found that it was indeed Kagero who turned those kids into Dead Man. So it's without question that the culprit is in fact Kagero. He's now officially an enemy of Phoenix, and Icky has to destroy him. Meanwhile, while dealing with those 3 kids, Daichi tries to talk to Kagero as to why he exists and why he trying to do all these horrible things, and he makes it very clear. Look, it's because your brother is existing is why I'm given form. You're jealous of him, and you've been jealous of him since you were a kid, and I feed off of that jealousy. So I feel like this is adding to my fan theory that the main characters are actually going to be like the 7 deadly sins, and of course Daiji, instead of being pride, is actually going to be envy. If anything, um, what's his name? Demons would be pride. But yes, Daiji would be envy of the seven deadly sins. Moving right along, so George does talk to Icky that he has to fight him off, and of course Sakura confronts the both of them. Listen, he's your brother. We cannot give up on him. Are you seriously going to just fight him like he's not your brother anymore? And of course, later she vents her frustration in martial arts class, where someone notes that she's more passionate than the other two brothers, so she's the black belt, while the other two are, well, a runner of bathhouses / Yenta, and the other one works for Phoenix. Later in the evening, Vice tries to note, what if Daiji just doesn't want to be rescued? What if he just needs a space? But of course, Icky's not going to have that. And of course, he tries to get some advice from his dad, and he tells him, listen, this is just like before. You've rescued him in the past when you were little kids. Of course, at that point, I thought that you were both lost, but you did rescue him. Maybe he just felt really jealous that you were the one making people smile. Anyways, so next day, the fight ensues, and Demons tries to fight off the Brachiosaur dead man. And it turns out that there's three of them, which kind of adds to my point about, yeah, this is probably a reference to Geo Trinity. So, but Kamen Rider Evil shows up and starts fighting Revi and Vice. But the thing is, they're not giving their all to fight against him, because this time they actually do want to restrain him in order to help him see the error of his ways. Meanwhile, while fighting the dead man, Demons uses the Amazon Vice stamp, or rather the Mole Vice stamp, to create a drill. And honestly, this looks really cool. And honestly, if I look a little closer, it almost looks like the drill from Juko B Fighter. Because Blue Beat had a drill that honestly looks very similar to this, but that's just me. Anyways, so while pinned down, the Kamen Rider Evil sits down and tells him, listen, here's what's happening. Your brother's always been jealous of you. You've always been the sunshine, and he wanted to get some of that shine away from you and towards himself. And when he finally had that opportunity to, when he had a chance to become a Kamen Rider, you took it away from him. And to top it off, you even did a much better job than he expected to. So naturally, I was born and given flesh. So then he uses the Jackal Vice stamp to transform into his Jackal form, and he starts mopping the floor with the Mantis forms of Revi and Vice, so much so that he took them both out with a single slash of his two-side edge. But of course, at that point, Icky resolves himself to give it his all, and the episode ends with him using a rider kick. And that's pretty much it. That's the episode. Runaway Kagero, Igarashi Brothers Collapse. So, what'd you guys think? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Thoughts on the episode? And of course, I thought the episode continues pretty well from where we left off. The pacing in these two episodes were definitely a lot better than the three episodes that came before it, where we had some revelations of some bad stuff happening. Now we have to know how to deal with it. And my thoughts on that is that it was really well done. I love how each member of the family is dealing with losing Daiji in their own different ways. And I appreciate that. And I really hope we actually get more out of this. Like maybe like it would take some family bonds in order to get Daiji to snap out of it. But, it is what it is. The fighting was just amazing. The fighting was perfect. I loved the special effects, the choreography, and I love the Kamakiri remix formation. It was very beautiful, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And I love the inclusion of Showa Vice stamps, because honestly, while these take up a lot of room, I actually do want the Showa ones, because a year ago, I had to binge watch every single season of Kamen Rider in 1 week each minimum. And given how much Kamen Rider V3 X Amazon Stronger, Kamen Rider 79, Super 1, Z Cross, Black, and Black RX I had to watch, I think I kind of deserve to have all of the show up Vice stamps, but that's just me. Anyways, I give the episode a 10 out of 10. It was really well done, and I think there's really not much that could be improved upon, and I think that it makes me want to watch the next episode. I just really hope that the next episode doesn't let me down on that regard. So what do you guys think of the episode? Did you like it, dislike it? Let's go to the comments and find out. So we got Dino versus Dino this week. I don't feel like I have much to say about this episode. The Brachiosaurus Dead Man just felt like tier 2 mooks, stronger than Give Juniors, but not that much. Let's see. Revice are way too strong for most of the Dead Man. Like they are just props for set dressing. I feel it's going to be Rider v Rider for longer than we would like currently. Okay. I like the Brachiosaur Dead Man or different variations. Yeah. Love the fighting through the transformations. Yes, I love those sequences. That is the one thing I loved most about Kyoruger when they had to do the dance and they were fighting while they were doing the dance. And lastly, I like this episode. These are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments and videos. Trying to co-host, I see. Okay. Well, that's it for the comments, guys. Of course, you can find me on Instagram at @Chronos_just_cosplay. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. And of course, if you want to see our other content, be sure to come on Tuesday to watch the review of Kikai Sentai's and Kaiger next episode 33 this Tuesday. And of course, we'll be reviewing Dino Fury episode 20 on Saturday, and we also got Ranger Comic Time at some point whenever the next issue comes out, and of course be sure to check out our interviews with various actors such as Hunter Dino, Tessa Rao, and of course, if you like all this content and you want to stay tuned for more, be sure to like, comment, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And ding the bell icon on YouTube because the algorithm Dead Man really like to mess around with us, trying to summon our inner demons. And of course, there's not much to say, but I hope you all have a really great day. Oh, and next week we'll be hanging out with the DiFilippo triplets. So be sure to check out that event on their IG page. So, I'll say this in advance. Tim, Tom, Ted, I can't wait to see you guys next week. And you, our lovely audience, I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Carson's Corner is a black LGBTQ-owned small business. They sell merchandise and apparel on pop culture franchises such as Dragon Ball, King of the Hill, Sailor Moon, and of course and most importantly, Power Rangers. If you're interested in getting their amazing merch, be sure to check them out at carsoncorner.com. Link will be down below.